What's up, everybody? Jackson here from First Class Business, and I'm excited to show you behind the scenes of how I teach my team to evaluate opportunities. And I have this gift. Why? Because I've spent years working with difficult companies or companies that are difficult to evaluate. Am I in a safe place? Is this company really great at what they do? And Success Grid, I have a podcast with them right now, and he wasn't able to make it. I was sitting in the waiting room for a while. This is not meant to degrade at all Success Grid. I just get to use this brand as the opportunity since I have 15 minutes for my next meeting. So I wanted to make the most of it and teach my team, as well as all of you, what we do with our evaluations. Now, our evaluations, again, they're evaluations about the quality or the stance of where somebody's at, not the identity or the value of the human being. We love everybody. I believe everybody's equal. I just know that when it comes to business and when it comes to doing business, there are certainly levels to those businesses. So some of you might look at this and say like, oh my gosh, like it looks so cool in the name of Success Grid, so it must be amazing. And some of you already know to look past that. Well, I'm going to dive into some seriously deep emotional intelligence realities that most people have never thought through. And some of you, I think the very few who are closer to my level, I'm going to reveal certain things that you've probably never thought through as well. If there's anything, if any of you know all of this, by all means, let us know in the comments and consider attracting my attention, because I would like to work with you if that's the case. I love being able to assess and understand the value of where somebody's at. So again, I'm not going to walk you through all the things that I see, and I'm certainly not going to hammer down on the brand Success Grid. Again, these are just outsider evaluations based on what aligns with us. It doesn't make them right. It doesn't make us right. Doesn't make it wrong, but I'm very, very intentional with my time and who I spend it with and how. And when I asked my assistant last night, she had not used the 12-step checklist that we have. And so I need to make sure our team is dedicated to using this this checklist, because it's possible we would have canceled this interview or not interviewed with them to begin with. So the Success Grid TV, this is not the first thing that I saw. The first thing that I saw was when I realized I had a podcast, as she was talking to me about it last night, debriefing that, okay, I've got one coming up right after my meeting with the team. And, I see, again, the name. Okay, I've got somebody who's got international relations, and they're just using Zoom for the recording studio, which is not a great thing. And then this is funny. Success Grid official, yet it's at gmail.com. Not very official. So it's, again, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. And I know somebody get very offended by this reality. I hope Hussein does not get offended. That's not the point. He's got the incredible opportunity to just level up. So back to the 12-step checklist, this is free for all of you as well. This is how you recognize market leaders. This saves us from working with people who are not at our caliber of performance or providing. You can't put a child into a World Cup soccer game. You just can't. It's not safe. It's dangerous to do. So we call this Saving Heroes Audit Blueprint. 12 steps to recognizing the market leaders, identifying and sorting, disqualifying and qualifying, recognizing the toxic behaviors versus the virtuous behaviors, sorting the pretenders from the contenders. That doesn't mean they're toxic. It just means they might be a little bit lost or unaware. And the hobbyists and the legacy builders, right? So I would, if I were trying to evaluate a company and I hadn't reached my level of evaluations, and even when I have, I'm still going to go back to this and make sure I did not forget or miss any of these incredibly vital principles. So number one, who are they really, right? I need to respect but not admire their role or title. I don't care about the accolades and the achievements. I want to focus on their identity. Do they appreciate themselves outside of their roles? Or do they seem like all business, no play? Can they see their own value and worth as a human being? Well, we look for love, patience, persistence, consistency, and reliability. I'm not going to knock any of these on what I saw regarding Hussein, but what I did see is that, so I looked at the YouTube video and I go, okay, and I happen to fast forward. And as I fast forward, now there's somebody shouting at me, like right away. And I saw a picture of Grant Cardone. And I was like, one of those guys. I love Grant Cardone as a human being. I can't stand the way he treats people, and the way he goes about his leadership. I do not agree with the principles, right? So that helps me realize too, like, had my team just taken a little bit of time to do this research, they would have probably seen that this may not be the show that's going to be excited about what I have to say, right, and how I do things. I might accidentally disrespect the way they do things if we are not careful with what we are vetting and who we are vetting. That doesn't mean I cannot share a stage with Grant Cardone or with Hussein. That doesn't mean we cannot get along and that we can't be friends. What it means is we're going to argue. And hopefully, this is an entity that is okay with that argument, because healthy argument leads us to expand our minds, our horizons, our perspectives. And all of us as human beings benefit from having the ability, the strength to do that without crying about it, or making the space to cry about it, because that's a superpower as well that most business owners are terrified of. Why do they exist? Does their purpose align with our purpose? Success grid. I would say yes. Like, we want to raise standards and be successful. We just don't want to force people to do it. Or prompt people based on raw emotions and no substance. I'm not saying they don't have substance, but it is weak sauce, in my opinion. So purpose and alignment of purpose. We need to look at that. The best friend test. Would I instantly be eager to tell my most trusted friend, no, actually, I'm kind of embarrassed that I'm doing this video, but I'm not doing it for me and I'm not doing it for him. And I'm just trying to teach a subject that matters. No, I do not want to see my friends to see that I was on a podcast with this type of a homepage. Love you, Hussein. Horrible background, right? And he knows it. He's probably working on it and trying to get through it. And my hope is, again, I don't want to try to crush this guy. He can use this as an optimization methodology to realize, well, I hope he doesn't put a fake background in here like most bro marketers do, but and he can ignore me. Like I said, get hurt. But and I know Alan Lazaros, he's been on our show, and it was a decent show. But I can see the limitations of the brand very quickly. We'll dive into this more with the 12-step checklist. But no, I don't want my friends to see that. That's not. If I'm going to spend my time with my friends, and I'm going to be very careful with how much time I spend with them, because I've got 4 kids. Right, I have a whole life outside of my friendships. Then I would only mention to them the things that are absolutely most valuable to my life. This is not one of those. Are they a hobbyist or a legacy builder? This is huge, right? What are the word choices they gravitate towards? Can teach you a lot. I'm not going to go through those. You can pause the screen and study these out. And what are the legacy builder words? Which words do legacy builders not like? You want to drive me away from your business? Talk about how easy it is, how simple, automation, chat GPTs, and all this bullcrap that distracts. And it's not bullcrap. It's the context with which you present it that is bullcrap. Tools have to be used by mechanics who are actually great at using them, not some emotional donkey that's trying to teach me to change like my philosophies and win fast, solving problems that I don't have based on their projected understandings of what's most important and valuable in life to me. Legacy builders tend to gravitate towards words that drive away hobbyists. Well, when we become great leaders, which I'm still very much working on, the greatest leaders typically have the capacity to relate to both markets. They have the ability to recognize hobbyists and respect them for who they are. They have the ability to recognize legacy builders and respect them for who they are. And I'm hoping that most hobbyists won't watch this video, because then they'd probably be like, wow, he really doesn't like hobbyists. No, there's just a time and a place for that type of vocabulary. It has nothing to do with my particular business model. So focus, comparison chart. Let's walk through a little bit more of that further. It's not hard to go through and just compare and see, what does this person or entity stand for? We're going to skip that for now. Then we're going to go down to how strong is the leadership team, right? We go back over here. There is no mention of a leadership team. Oh, it's not a leadership team. We've got a solopreneur on our hands, right? So that helps me know that, no, this is not like they're not crushing it. No leadership team is mentioned, whereas great companies like Grunt Style, they definitely have mission, vision, values, and leadership. And Junaid, who was in the solopreneur realm, but now works with us. He's actually one of my business partners at First Class Business Now. And we talked about this. He's like, Jax, I don't want to represent that at first. And I was like, dude, you represent somebody who was a solopreneur. And now you're the champion. You're the poster child of what to do. So when people go look up Home Studio Mastery, they will see the transformation of his brand as we continue to optimize and build it out. So he actually gets the benefit of being able to relate to both markets. That's a huge superpower. So most often, leaders who have an existing team will not be ready to work at our pace or take advantage of our level of productivity. Their team members will often feel threatened and worried due to the contrast between our capabilities and how much they simply don't know how to do or do not want to do. In these scenarios, please bring any red flags you see directly to our executive leadership team so that an expert from our team can work directly with the leader on how to navigate that particular situation. This stuff is deep. Do they use weak or powerful language, right? This video that I played, you only heard a couple seconds of it. I already heard one, tone and cadence. So it's beyond the language itself too, which we get into, but there are words that force a narrative or a direction. It's not great leadership. That's controlling leadership. Being authentically vulnerable, right? I didn't get into evaluating that. I didn't need to. I've seen enough red flags to where I wouldn't spend my time on this particular initiative because I'm more likely to make an entity like this upset and make them, they're going to want to feel judged and negative about it rather than want to step into the humility of, wow, what a gift of optimization. He's saying I can do better and be more and better without saying that we're bad people, without hating on us. No, I'm not hating on them. So positive communication versus negative communication, do they follow your shift in tone and cadence, or do they set the standard? Both of those are okay scenarios, but how they go about it is a big question of emotional intelligence this talks about. Do our passions align? Again, the service aspect, or rather the success aspect, yes, but the way they go about it, absolutely not. Do they have favorable economics? It's pretty easy to see. Their brand presence makes you feel a wow. No. They're running Facebook ads. Guaranteed he's not. Google ads. Highly doubt it. They have a careers page. Nope. They have never mentioned finances, but seemed at ease about financial topics, right? These are triggers. These are signs as we hear them talk. How do they react or play with these scenarios? If they downplay their accolades, they're likely doing very well. If they're trying to posture and show photos next to Grant Cardone and show how cool they are, they're probably not that cool. Signs that they are not doing well financially. If they talk about money openly and often, they are likely not doing well. If they make no mention of their team members, departments, or business partners, if they avoid questions or change the subject when you ask about progress, results, or growth in depth. I'm going to keep going. Subtle ways to explore financial depth. Moving on, respectfully ending disqualified calls, right? How to get out of those scenarios is very helpful to understand. You do want to move on when somebody's super misaligned. He's not super misaligned. I just don't know how to go, and I'm not worried about it. Excited about this training for our team so they can protect my time and their time in the future and protect their emotional energy too, because it becomes a drain when you have to fight somebody who you love, but they can't feel it and they're like acting like a child about it. It's like, oh, I have to give a lot of energy to this person now, and I want to love them, but usually they don't need me. They'll figure it out. Somebody else will help them. I am not their God. I'm not their savior, right? Is it called the saving heroes, this guy, because it's fun. It's a fun concept, but I will only work with people like that who truly want to work with me. Setting up a meeting with a strategist, right? And signs of a poorly set strategy session. They come in with an intention to challenge our way of thinking. They arrive unprepared and with little context of who we are or what we do because they didn't do their own research or they aren't aware. And I put a period there, optimize my own document, right? Let's move on. Do they have a strong reputation in the market? This is the easy test. Simply Google their name or their brand. I don't have to do it in this case. I'm not going to cast any more shade on Success Grid than maybe people are perceiving happening. But if you Google Tony Robbins shows up. Google knows who that is. If you Google somebody like Mark Adams, yeah, I know it's a popular name, but dude, all the more reason to work on it, right? And I feel bad for the John Smiths of the world. I'm Jackson Callame. I'm the only one. It makes it easy for me. But if you have that challenge, maybe you should work on that challenge. Good brand presence, Loom, right? Hey, thanks, Loom. Shout out to you guys multi times. It shows like they dominate the search engine versus the Healing Institute, where one of their links is correct, but the other link is somebody else's Healing Institute. So that needs to be adjusted if they're going to be a contender in the market. What's the online reputation say about them, right? Some of these people who show up well, the first thing that pops up is this business legit? It's like, how bad did things have to get to where that's what Google is most often referred to for them? And maybe that will happen on my brand too. I don't know. I'm not at that level yet. So do they generate incredible results for their clients? Why are we not taking the time to evaluate these aspects of leaders, my friends? Why do we feel like we're hurting somebody by diving into depth and exploring who they are before we commit to work with them? That's not a bad thing. That's called being healthy. And most people do not have the ability to be healthy. I mean, healthy boundaries in marriage, boundaries in life. Great books, by the way. Are they growing and thriving or shrinking and dying? Right. A lot of these older, you know what? Bless his heart. I'll give a shout out to Jim Rohn, who literally passed away. right? He's got great resources, and his organization is probably shrinking if he had one. The Sandler Sales Institute is the shadow of the man. I love his book; it's one of my favorite books of all time. But the Institute never didn't have the depth that Michael Gerber talks about with the E-Myth. So, being able to evaluate who these people are, well, one, why do I care so much? I'm building for long term. I'm not just building for today and tomorrow. I'm building for something that's going to be along my I want to be part of this journey for the next 3-4 decades, maybe more. I don't know how long I'll live, right? But I am looking at this with a long-term mindset, and I want my team members to evaluate the long-term mindset. We will attract people with a long-term mindset. And as we do that, it's so much easier to get along and to build success with them and for them to appreciate what we're doing. It's like finding a long lost brother or relative you can instantly bond with when you focus on paying attention to these dynamics. So I hope you paused your screen and took a look at some of the things I'm just skimming past on here, because they are absolute gold mines of wisdom. Again, we'll leave this document for you to utilize. And my if you've appreciated this, subscribe to our channel. Right, comment and like. That helps us reach more people to help others. And you made the impact of making that happen by teaching the algorithm that people like you like this content. In addition, I always say, if you find a great book, go find the author and meet the author. He is the source, or she is the source of like the well where the water comes from. So come and interact with us. Come be on our show, Vision Pros Live. What is their trajectory for growth? Right? Is the business just something hot or new in the marketplace right now, like AI or REI, which AI might have a little bit more merit than REI does? Or does the business have enough of a foundation and market cap to expand for years or decades into the future? Again, you guys can argue all about that. It'll be fun to see in the comments. Recognizing growth trajectory, right? I've got some questions here to help you evaluate at a deeper level. And how would you feel as a prospective client for their brand? So many of us lie to ourselves. We act like we have to say the right thing. We don't. Not necessary. You have the ability to say no or not now. And interviewing a growth entity, we've got further documentation and guidance on how to do just that. But team, I want you guys to make sure you're using this 12-step checklist. You're mastering this for yourself, so that you can see, like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't do that, or get on these shows. Again, I think he's probably a good leader. I can't tell by his face right here. There's no emotional intelligence in that picture, right? It doesn't tell me if he's happy or not. And that doesn't mean he's not emotionally intelligent. That doesn't mean he's not a great leader. It just means he's got need for more photography. And is this website where I think he's trying to like hurt people? No, I don't see that. I think we could support him, and meaning support him by being on the show. But I also know, again, that with all of the signs that I saw, I don't think he's a bad person. I think he might not like me. I think he might not like what I'm doing, but I will subscribe to help him on his journey, because I think he is trying to do good. And maybe we will get to be on Hussein's show at some point. Maybe he'll be on ours. I'm going to run for my next call. But I'm excited I'm excited to get your feedback on what you learned out of this experience, how it might have helped you along your journey. If you know of resources that can help with this type of evaluation, or other tips and tricks that you look for, please drop those in the comments. I love to add to the value that I already have in life. I want to add your value to that too. And if you'd like us to assess where you're at, don't hesitate to ask. You can certainly do that. And if you're a visionary leader who wants to be on our show, Vision Pros Live, come and check that out. Come and be on that show. The other show, the BeYourBestShow.com, I don't recommend applying to be on that one. I recommend being very careful. That's my good, bad, and ugly show. That's where we dive in on purpose and hit really hard with brands like this about what have you learned? What did you do wrong? What can you fix about it? How can we move these mountains? We need leaders to be able to dive in deeply to the hard subjects and actually lead the world with integrity, not just talk about oh yeah, if I just follow Grant Cardone, I'm going to be amazing. Like that doesn't work. That leads people to failure. We don't want to lead people to failure. We want to lead people to success. So we have two different divisions of podcasts. One is for people who are learning to become great leaders. Go be authentic and real with me on that. And if you're also willing to talk about the nitty gritty, dirty, ugly stuff too, come join me on the BeYourBestShow.com too. And I will see you guys in the near future. Never hesitate to reach out and say hi on Facebook, friend me, and all that jazz. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.